By the end of 2025, 92% of Fortune 500 companies had deployed AI. But here's the kicker. Only 11% saw significant return on investment. That's not a technology problem. That's an execution problem. I'm Doug Ortiz. I've spent decades building AI systems for global enterprises, and I've watched billions of dollars evaporate because companies confused experimentation with strategy. 2026 is the year that changes. This is your playbook to go from pilot purgatory to profitable scale. Here's what we're covering. The inflection point happening right now. The 5 forces reshaping how AI creates value. A battle-tested roadmap with real timelines. And the costly mistakes that will sink your competitors while you surge ahead. Let's start with why this moment matters. Think back to 2007. Everyone had a website, but only Amazon, Google, and a handful of others truly understood digital infrastructure. The winners didn't just adopt technology, they rebuilt their operations around it. AI in 2026 is that same moment. We've hit 80 to 90% adoption across enterprises. AI is in your CRM, your finance systems, your operations. But here's the brutal truth. Most companies are stuck in pilot purgatory. Dozens of experiments, zero enterprise value. They're burning cash on tools that don't talk to each other, models that hallucinate in production, and governance that's duct tape and prayer. Meanwhile, the top performers, they're seeing 20 to 40% efficiency gains. They're automating entire workflows. They're making decisions faster than their competitors can schedule meetings. The gap is widening every quarter. I compare this to electricity in the early 1900s. Every factory had it, but only the ones who rewired their entire operations, who understood it was infrastructure, not a gadget, dominated their industries. AI is your factory rewiring moment. So what separates the winners from the also-rans? 5 fundamental shifts. Miss any one of these, and you're playing checkers while your competitors play chess. Shift 1. Platforms over tools. Stop buying point solutions. You don't need 47 AI apps. You need one coherent platform that handles data preparation, model deployment, monitoring, and governance. Think of it like this. You're not collecting Lego bricks. You're building the factory that produces finished machines. I worked with a healthcare company that had 23 different AI pilots across departments. Marketing had one tool. Finance had another. Operations had 3. None of them shared data. None of them had consistent security. When we consolidated to a single platform, their time to deployment dropped 70%, and their compliance headaches vanished overnight. That's the power of platform thinking. Shift 2. Agents over chatbots. Forget the hype around conversational AI. The real revolution is AI that takes action. An agent doesn't just answer questions. It triages your support queue, pulls customer data from your CRM, drafts responses, and routes edge cases to humans. It's a digital employee, not a fancy search bar. Center. Shift 3. Return on investment reality. Most companies can't tell you if their AI investments are working. They track models deployed or users onboarded. That's vanity metrics. Winners measure time saved per process, errors eliminated, costs reduced per transaction, revenue generated per customer interaction. If you can't quantify the impact in dollars and hours, you're guessing, and guessing is expensive. Shift 4. Compliant AI. Regulations are tightening globally. The EU AI Act, sovereign data laws, industry-specific audits. You can't bolt compliance on later. It has to be foundational. That means knowing where your data lives, how your models make decisions, and having an audit trail for every prediction. Companies using local sovereign cloud infrastructure aren't just checking boxes, they're avoiding million-dollar fines and reputational disasters. Shift 5. Smarter reasoning. Black box models are done. Stakeholders demand explainability. Why did the AI deny that loan? Why did it flag that transaction? If you can't explain it, you can't trust it. And if you can't trust it, you can't scale it. All right, those are the forces. Now let's talk about your roadmap. If you want to go from scattered pilots to enterprise-scale AI, you need 5 parallel tracks. Think of these as the pillars of a bridge. Skip one, and the whole thing collapses. Track 1. Use cases. You can't boil the ocean. Pick 3 to 5 high-impact processes. Invoice processing, support ticket routing, claims adjudication, lead scoring. Whatever it is, run the numbers. Project return on investment upfront. How many hours saved? How many errors cut? Aim for 20 to 30% cost reduction on each use case. And here's critical. Differentiate assistive AI from agentic AI. Assistive helps humans make decisions. Agentic makes decisions. Know which one you're building, or you'll end up with a Frankenstein system nobody trusts. Track 2. Data backbone. This is your foundation. Without clean, accessible, governed data, your AI is garbage. Build one platform, one source of truth for data ingestion, transformation, model training, and monitoring. Think of it like laying railroad tracks. Once they're down, every train runs smoothly. You also need to make a cloud decision. Global cloud for speed and scale, sovereign cloud for compliance, hybrid for flexibility. There's no one-size-fits-all, but indecision is the killer. Pick your strategy and commit. Track 3. Models and agents. You'll need a mix of closed models. Think OpenAI, Anthropic, and open source models you can fine-tune. Layer and retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, so your AI pulls from your proprietary data, not just generic training sets. Your agents are your digital workforce. Give them clear roles, strict rules, and defined escalation paths. A claims agent shouldn't approve a $500,000 payout without human review, but it should handle the routine stuff: data collection, validation, first-pass analysis, freeing your team for high-stakes decisions. Track 4. Governance. This is not optional. You need rules for bias detection, security protocols, audit trails, and usage monitoring. Make AI as auditable as your financial systems. Track who deployed what model, when, and why. If regulators or executives ask questions, you need answers in minutes, not months. Track 5. People and skills. AI doesn't replace humans. It amplifies them. But that requires training. Everyone needs basic AI literacy. What can it do? What can't it do? Your power users need advanced prompt engineering. Your engineers need fine-tuning and deployment skills. And critically, update job roles. If your customer service team now manages AI agents instead of handling calls directly, their workflows, metrics, and incentives have to reflect that. Ignore the people side, and your fancy tech collects dust. Here's the key. These tracks run in parallel. You don't finish use cases, then start on data. You're building the plane while flying it. That's uncomfortable, but it's reality. Now let's talk timelines. Here's your 24-month roadmap. This isn't theory. This is what works. Months 0 to 6, foundation phase. You're picking your platform, locking in your top use cases, and setting up governance. By month 6, you should have your first AI use case live in production, delivering measurable return on investment. Not a pilot, not a proof of concept, live, in production with metrics. Months 6 to 18, expansion phase. You're scaling agents across departments. You're refining models based on real-world feedback. You're measuring return on investment religiously and optimizing based on data. This is where you separate yourself from the pack. While others are still debating governance, you're iterating and improving. Months 18 to 24, optimization phase. AI is embedded in core operations. It's not a project anymore. It's how you work. You're hitting diminishing returns on individual use cases, so now you're looking for entirely new opportunities. Maybe you're spinning up an AI-driven product line. Maybe you're entering new markets faster than anyone thought possible. Let me be blunt. If you're not thinking in these timelines, you're already behind. Your competitors are, your customers are, the market is. Here are the mistakes I see companies make over and over. Learn from their pain. Mistake 1, pilot purgatory. Running endless experiments with no plan to scale. That's not innovation. That's procrastination with a budget. Mistake 2, tool sprawl. Buying every shiny AI app without a coherent architecture. You end up with data silos, integration nightmares, and zero ROI. Mistake 3, ignoring governance until it's too late. You can't bolt on compliance after deployment. It has to be baked in from day one. Mistake 4, underinvesting in people. You bought the tech, but you didn't train the team. So it sits unused, and your CFO questions every AI line item. Mistake 5, no measurement framework. If you can't prove return on investment in dollars and hours, you'll lose executive support. Avoid these, and you're already ahead of 80% of the market. So here's where we are. 2026 is the year AI transitions from interesting experiment to core competitive advantage. The companies that nail the 5 shifts, platforms, agents, return on investment, compliance, reasoning, and execute the 5-track roadmap will dominate their industries. The companies that don't, they'll be case studies in expensive mistakes. You have a choice. You can keep running disconnected pilots and hope something sticks, or you can take a disciplined, strategic approach and turn AI into a profit engine. Here's your next step. Pick one use case, not 10. 1. Project the return on investment. Build the MVP on a solid platform, measure obsessively, scale what works, kill what doesn't, then move to use case 2. Start today. The window to lead is open, but it won't stay open forever. In 24 months, the winners will be miles ahead, and the laggards will be drowning in technical debt and buyer's remorse. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. I read every single one, and I'll give you straight answers. No fluff, no sales pitch, just real talk from someone who's been in the trenches. Let's build the future. See you in the next one. Now, let's talk specifics. Ready to transform customer data into competitive advantage? Let's connect at bio.site/dougortiz.